All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Going to get into the Dell Technologies bracket and bets outrights. Now, if you guys are looking for the DFS picks as well, this is going to be a great tool for you as well, because honestly, the process doesn't really change much. The way that you should be breaking it down in DFS, or the way that I like to break it down in DFS, is go through it in those bracket tiers: high tier, mid tier, low tier, and value tier, finding out which players are the best picks in those price point ranges. Well, that's exactly what we are going to be doing for the Dell Technologies Match Play. Now we're going to go through the bracket one group at a time, thus seeing which player is going to be most likely to move on, thus seeing which player is going to be the best bet for you guys as well. So we'll talk about the best bets here, the outright bets, at the end of this video after we get done with our bracket. And another thing to note as well, I am going to be going over the two new tools here at 9 to 5 Sports. One is going to be the specialist page. Now, a lot of people would consider this a custom model because you can sort it by the date or, weeks if you wanted to. You can sort it by the last 10 weeks, the last 7 weeks, the last 10 weeks, last 12 weeks, whatever. You can sort it by weather type. You can sort it by green type. You can sort it by course style, course designer, just that specific course. It has all the data in there from 2021, which is what I'm going to be highlighting in this video. But we also do have that custom models page, which you guys can go through, select which stats you want to use for that tournament, and sort which players are going to be the best plays. But I'm going to be highlighting the specialist page in this video. So let's get into the picks for the Dell Technologies Match Play. And I do want to say, guys, that this is a tournament in which there is a lot more chaos here and there. So, you just want to make the best decision possible at each bracket tier. It's going to be like a normal NCAA bracket. You really just want to go ahead and select which players that you think are most likely to keep advancing, that have the highest likelihood to advance in each round. You make the best decision possible and move on from there. That's what you're going to be doing with your bracket, and that's how you're going to end up on the best DFS picks and the best outright picks as well. So we'll start off with the first one. I already have Dustin Johnson selected, and I'll show you guys why. So we're going to pull up DJ here. So Dustin Johnson is typing him, click on only, and then we're going to bring in some other players here. So Kevin Na is going to be the other player. Robert McIntyre. And then the last one was Adam Long there in that bracket. So just kind of looking at that first one. Now you guys can look at the big board here, and you guys can filter in which key stats you want to be looking at. I'm not really going to pay attention to this week. No real need to. There's no real need to kind of sort it by course designer or whatnot. You don't really have to do that this week. What we're really going to be focusing on is going to be kind of just the basic breakdown of who are going to be the best plays. Now, for me, the stats I'm going to be looking at are going to be effective total driving rank, effective ball striking, effective greens gained. Don't really care about total accuracy or effective drives gained. You could look at that if you wanted to. I'm not going to be looking at that exactly. And why I'm pulling in effective stats, because it's just a little bit better of the bigger picture. It kind of tells you the full story a little bit better than some of the strokes gain stats. Now, they're fine. I like them a lot, and we had that included in here for you guys, but I'm going to be looking at the effective data. Once again, that's 9 to 5 data. That's data that I pulled in for you guys to be able to use and kind of create a separation point for you guys. I'm not going to be looking at strokes gain off the tee. Strokes gain tee to green, I do like. Strokes gain around the green, I do like. Strokes gain approach, I do like as well, but I'm already looking at effective greens gain. So a little bit better stat there. And then we'll be looking at birdie or better percentage as well, as opposed to birdie to bogey ratio. Want those players that are scoring a little bit more frequently. So just looking at it, very interesting here. So DJ is obviously popping here, but not by much. He does grade out really well in all the stats that we want to be looking at. We look at the recent form rank here at the bottom. Robert McIntyre, not playing all too well. Dustin Johnson, even kind of struggling in his last event, still playing well. Still like him as a pick. Best in recent form. If we were to look at kind of the course designer, we could do that as well. I don't really care for that. We could, if we wanted to. It's going to be up to you guys. You can see those stats there. Just click on Pete Dye Design. Then we got it there. So I don't really want to do that. Like I said, just want to look at the bigger picture. I want to look at the full picture. So we can see DJ is going to be the best pick there, but really not horrible across the board. Kevin Na's kind of popping a little bit, but yeah, DJ is just kind of going to be the standout play in this bracket here, and that's kind of why I wanted to use him as the example piece. So DJ is going to be moving on. Then we get into the next one: Sanjay M, Victor Perez, Mark Leishman, and Russell Henley. So we're going to go ahead and plug those guys into this as well now. So let's go Russell Henley. This is going to be an interesting one because Sungjae Im, he's great in terms of like trying to make a cut. We love him for that. He's solid at that, but this could be kind of be a trap spot for him because he hasn't exactly been dominating all that much. Mark Leishman. And then we're going to be looking at Victor Perez. All right, so we got the 4 here for this. Now we're going to scroll down here as well. So as you guys can see, very, very close as a whole. You know, Sungjae Im getting the slight advantage here, if you will. Does grade out better in recent form. And really for this, how you guys should be using the specialist page week in and week out would be for 50-50 decision makers. After you went through, you know, you're trying to make your lineups, you're trying to decide which player in a certain price point range that you end up on is the best pick. And that's kind of why I like using this for this tool right now. So we're just looking at it. Russell Henley, Sungjae Im, Mark Leishman. You know, this is kind of a make or break point. I'm not exactly sure that we'd want to choose, really want these guys to advantage just because I don't see this being that likely to predict the winner here because I really like Mark Leishman, really like Sungjae Im, I really like Russell Henley. Okay. Very tough to kind of differentiate here between which player you would want to select. Now, honestly, maybe we get a little bit crazy here and go with Russell Henley. Russell Henley has been playing some solid golf recently. I'm kind of just favoring him. A little bit more of a mental game there as well. We'll go with him. Now we get into a casually really solid group here. Webb Simpson, Paul Casey, Mackenzie Hughes, and Taylor Gooch. So we're going to get into those guys now. So who... Hughes, Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch came through and made the cut last week. That was pretty cool. And then we got Mr. Webb Simpson coming off of the mud ball at 17 after disappointing us there on 17. That was a little unfortunate there. Let's see what we got here. So it is looking like Webb Simpson is going to be the best play here, but really not that far off. Mackenzie Hughes is the worst pick out of the bunch, then Taylor Gooch, then Paul Casey, then Webb Simpson. But it's all really pretty darn close, guys. Webb Simpson does grade out better recent form, then Paul Casey, then Taylor Gooch, then Mackenzie Hughes. You know, for me, this group does come down to Paul Casey or Webb Simpson. But man, this is kind of tough. I am favoring Paul Casey, call it my gut, but Paul Casey has been playing some spectacular golf as of recent. This is one where if we just want to pull up his stats here over the last, I don't know, let's go 5 weeks, if you will. So he's played 3 tournaments in the last 5 weeks, 3 straight top 10 finishes. Absolutely spectacular. Just been playing some great golf recently. That is what we want to see from him. At the Pete Dye course, played well. So yeah, I really do like Paul Casey in that bracket group. He's going to be the one I go with here. Don't feel great about it. Now we get into kind of a crazy one as well. Terrell Hatton, Lee Westwood, Sergio Garcia, and Matt Walsh. You cannot tell me that this was random, okay? No Americans there. You get Lee Westwood, Garcia, and Matt Wallace. Okay. Yeah, definitely was random there, PGA Tour. Yeah. Okay. We believe you. Don't worry. Let's see here. All right. So now we're going to pull in Terrell Hatton. And Lee Westwood, was he looking forward to this week? I doubt it. I'm not going to be on him. I'm going to tell you guys that much already. He's not going to be the pick that I end up on. There is a little bit of a mental edge that I think Sergio Garcia has here that you guys could favor. And then everyone's kind of almost trap play last week. I had to talk a lot of people off of Matt Wallace. I don't know why people wanted to end up on him, but they did. So let's just sort it here. Strokes gained total, Matt Wallace is actually beating everyone, which is a little bit surprising to me. But the rest of his game is not there. We look at kind of the most complete. It's going to be Sergio Garcia if he can get his putting figured out. I'm kind of curious. Let's see how he did putt. Pete Dye ranked 24th in the field in Pete Dye courses so far this year. Not bad. Bermuda has been his best surface so far this year. Okay. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's click off him though. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Terrell Hatton. We look at the recent form, guys. There's this is a group where it really doesn't seem like you should be favoring any of these guys to move on after this group stage. For me, I'm kind of liking Tyrrell Hatton a little bit, but for me, it's going to be Sergio Garcia or Tyrrell Hatton. I'm favoring more Tyrrell Hatton. I like him a little bit better, but honestly, guys, if we just want to look at, these quick groups here on the top end, DJ, Russell Henley, and then Paul Casey, Tyrrell Hatton, let's just kind of figure those two out real quick. So Dustin Johnson, and then Henley, and then Casey, and then Hatton. So obviously we're kind of doing two things at once here. We're going to be looking at who's most likely to advance between DJ and Russell Henley. Do like DJ once again. He's just kind of the standout play there. So DJ over Russell Henley, and then we're going to try to figure out which one we think is going to move on. And for me, I would say that Paul Casey is a little bit more likely to move on, just given his current grouping and a little bit better recent form. Yeah, I'm just trusting Paul Casey a little bit more than I am Tyrrell Hatton right now. And then after that, let's see, we'll just look at DJ and Paul Casey just real quick. All right, so now we got it. So DJ and Paul Casey just real quick. It's not too crazy of a separation there. Neither of them are playing horrible. I actually really like Paul Casey as a whole. If we were to zoom it in here, let's just zoom it in a little bit. Get that focus going a little bit more. But look at the last 5 weeks. Paul Casey has been playing better over the last 5 weeks. Yeah, you could definitely favor Paul Casey there if you want to, if you want to get crazy. But once again, guys, I am looking at which players are most likely to advance, okay? I think DJ has an easy grouping. And then, with Russell Henley, it's still pretty easy there. DJ is going to be playing his golf game and not looking ahead. That's the big key here. Is he going to be looking ahead? I don't think he will be. I think he's going to bounce back once again. So, yeah, I'm trusting DJ to move on, mostly just because he has the best likelihood to move on. He has the easiest path to move on. So now we're going to look at Bryson DeChambeau, Tommy Fleetwood, Siwoo Kim, and Rosner. Okay. So I remember seeing this one. I'm like, there's no way that we don't end up on Bryson DeChambeau just based off of the grouping there. We'll see, though. Siwoo Kim, and then who else was it? Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood has not been playing well. I mean, this should be Bryson just dominating here, guys. He should be the most likely to move on. I'm not even going to bother looking at the last guy there. So, yeah, guys, look at it. Bryson has just been a stud. Really just has been. Best recent form throughout the whole season. Yeah, sure, Siwoo Kim can get hot. He does play well at Pete Dye courses. If you guys want to kind of throw your trust in on that, you can. Let's just look at it just based on Pete Dye courses in 2021. Bryson just crushes as well. So, yeah, we're going to be playing Bryson DeChambeau this week. Definitely the favorite in this grouping. Definitely should be the player that you end up on in this grouping. Now, I'm not going to say that he's guaranteed to win, but he definitely has the easiest likelihood to move on. And now we get into what I think is probably the toughest bracket grouping with Tony Finau, Jason Kokrak, Will Zalatoris. You got 3 of the hottest players on the tour, minus Tony Finau last week, really, at the Players' Championship where he struggled. You got 3 of the hottest players on tour. And then Dylan Fratelli, who, when he does play well, he is tough to beat. He's a guy where I could see sneaking in 2 victories. And that's what we really are focusing on. Which player is the most likely to win 2 victories? That's all you have to get to is 2 wins. That's what we're focusing on. So which player is most likely to win 2 of these matchups? And that's why we're breaking it down this way. Probably should have explained that a little bit better off the get-go. So Tony Finau, Will Zalatoris, who Will Zalatoris we know has just been a stud. There's no reason to believe that he won't be able to play well this week. And then Jason Kokrak, just kind of a staple lately in DFS builds. I know he wasn't chalk at the Players' Championship when he should have been, but I don't really get why people haven't been on him. So this is one where it's very close. You guys can already see it. Tony Finau, Will Zalatoris, and Jason Kokrak. We're actually going to have to zoom this one in a little bit more, I think. Let's just go a little bit closer. That's close. So Jason Kokrak, Will Zalatoris definitely had the best recent form, mostly due to Tony Finau's miscut there. This is tough. All right, let's just look at the full season actually here. We'll sort it by Pete Dye courses just to see. Anyone with a significant advantage? So Will Zalatoris sucks at putting on these courses. Tony Finau's the best putter, surprisingly. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Jason Kokrak. We just know Tony Finau. I don't want to say he's a mental case, but when it gets to the clutch situations, he really hasn't been there. Dylan Fratelli, once again, guys, if you can just put it all together, might not be horrible, but in terms of just flat out playing well, we see Jason Kokrak really playing well just as a whole. He ranks top 10 on the tour in effective ball striking and effective greens gained, top 25 in effective total driving, and birdie or better rank. I'm not going to say Will Zalatoris is horrible, but to look at the full picture, I'm kind of just favoring Jason Kokrak a little bit more there. Once again, this is not one where you would really want to bet on that player to advance. And because of that, I'm just going to go ahead with Bryson DeChambeau because I think that he is most likely to move on, just given the fact that he has a high likelihood to win his first grouping, and thus I don't have that much faith in Jason Kokrak really to win. So we're going to move on with Bryson DeChambeau there. Now we get into the lower part of that bracket group. We're going to be looking at Victor Hovland, Abraham Ancer, Brent Wiesberger. Let's see if I can even spell that. Oh, look at that. All right, so Ancer. This could be interesting here. Kind of, oh no. Here we go. I was typing in the wrong one anyways. All right, so Ancer. Hovland. Once again, Hovland's mom, if she just didn't tell him about his error, he would have made the cut at the Players' Championship, and then he could have really went off and dominated. Really as simple as that. So let's just pull it up here. We got the 4 pulled up. This might be one. Oh, shoot. I forgot to unclick the other guys. Give me a second here, guys. I apologize. How do you spell Wiesberger's last name? There we go. All right, so Victor Hovland, Abraham Ancer, and then Kevin Stroman. All right, so now we got the 4 that we actually need selected. Let's just take a quick peek there. Season long, Victor Hovland would be the easy pick there, season long. Just been playing the best golf throughout the whole season. But is he really a guy that's going to go out and potentially win this thing? I don't see that happen. I just don't think, kind of like Tony Finau, he just struggles to close it out. Now, yes, he has won a couple of those alternative field events, but other than that, he just kind of struggles down the stretch in these bigger name tournaments. So once again, let's look at the last 7 weeks here to see which player kind of stands out a little bit more. Yeah, Kevin Stroman has been playing better golf. I actually might kind of go with a crazy upset pick here and go with Kevin Stroman. I like how he's been playing recently. Just going to pull him up here. Just kind of look at it. So yeah, just been playing solid golf. We look at just over the last 7 weeks, 1 missed cut, a top 13th place finish. You know, not playing horrible there, guys. Overall, game's been decent. Don't want to go crazy with it. Decent. Not bad for Kevin Stroman. I think I'm going to favor him. We'll pull up Pete Dye as well, just to take a quick peek and see who's kind of the specialist for the Pete Dye courses. No one really popping too much. I would say Abraham Ancer, maybe a little bit better there. 22nd place finish for his, well, is that just the Players' Championship? So maybe we favor Abraham Ancer because he played best recently at a Pete Dye course. If you guys want to favor that, you can. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Kevin Stroman. I think he can win 2 of those 3. It's going to be Abraham Ancer or Kevin Stroman for me. We can go back to this one a couple of times. Let's go with the upset. Let's go with the upset, Kevin Stroman. But I think Abraham Ancer could be very close there as well. Now we get into another kind of tough one because Billy Horschel just tends to play well in general. He's never going to shoot himself out of it. Got Collin Morikawa, Billy Horschel, Max Homa, and JT Poston. All right, so JT Poston really was a letdown last week. I don't see him going out and playing well this week. Collin Morikawa has figured out his game. This would be another kind of hole in his belt. Is that the saying? Billy Horschel and Max Homa. So I think the week off is going to be good for Max Homa. He had played a ton of events in a row. I think that's going to be good for him. All right, so we're just going to be looking at, we don't need to have Pete Dye course selected. But we are still looking at let's just look at the big picture, and then we'll zoom in if we need to. So Collin Morikawa, kind of the best play, then Billy Horschel, then Max Homa, then JT Poston. But this is where I like to look in a little bit more. This is kind of the reason why I did it, because Max Homa sucked at the start of the year. But look at the last 7 weeks when Max Homa is going to be popping a lot more, guys. So look at that. Huge difference over the last, recent events. He's been playing a lot better. But we can see Collin Morikawa really is just the class of the field here. I don't know. I kind of see Billy Horschel being able to beat kind of two of these guys here, though. I see Collin Morikawa getting a W, and maybe Max Homa as well. I don't see JT Poston winning one of these, but I kind of like the veteran Billy Horschel here. That's tough. That's really tough here. I don't know. I just kind of like the veteran approach of Billy Horschel, just getting inside these guys' heads, being able to win. I'm going to go with Billy Horschel, although I feel like Collin Morikawa would be the best pick there. Let's go Billy Horschel. Wow, that's ugly. So Billy Horschel or Kevin Stroman, that is ugly. Wow, I don't like that at all. All right, so Billy Horschel and now Kevin Stroman. That is just ugly as a whole there. That's as ugly as it can get. So last 7 weeks, who's the better pick? Kevin Stroman. I don't know. I kind of like Billy Horschel. I just do. I'm going to go Billy Horschel. Going with the gut there. And then Bryson DeChambeau. I'm just going to have him favored to win. He has the easiest path to go out and contend. Now, hopefully these two guys, DJ and Bryson, are not looking ahead. Kind of simple, easy on the left side. Let's get into the right side. This is a long video, but it's a fun video. So hopefully you guys are enjoying. This is the process that you need to do, though, to be successful. I mean, it should take you this long to go through it if you guys are trying to make the best decisions possible. If you didn't do this with your NCAA bracket, that's on you guys. So some people might try to talk you into this being the best bracket here on the top right, the trap bracket, and it is solid. I mean, you got Kevin Kisner, who really just dominates in head-to-head matchups. I don't really want to look at the head-to-head matchups at all, but there is something to be said about Kevin Kisner with his head-to-head performance. The guy is elite. If I could spell his name, we could get him in there. Defending champ from 2019. He was kind of an upset pick, but really wasn't, because this dude really just dominates when it comes to head-to-head matchups, guys. He really is just the class of the field in terms of head-to-head matchups. Something that I don't think we need to look at, but it's something you definitely could look at. So for me, it's either going to be Kevin Kisner, based off that knowledge, Louis Oosthuizen, or JT. JT, once again, is coming off of a victory. I don't always like to look at that. That's going to be up to you guys if you decide to do that. Now, Louis Oosthuizen, he had to withdraw 3 events ago. And I don't remember. Did he play at the Players' Championship? Just let me pull it up. So he did play, made the cut, finished fine. He actually has been playing some solid golf there recently. Interesting there. Let's see, though. Justin Thomas, Matt Kuchar, Kevin Kisner. Kevin Kisner, not in the best recent form, but once again, he just dominates in those head-to-heads. But this is a tough grouping. I don't know. I can't really trust Kevin Kisner with his recent form. Let's look at his, over the last 7 weeks, he's had 4 starts. A 41st at the WGC event, which was horrible. A made cut at the Arnold Palmer, and then a miscut at the Players. So he hasn't been playing good golf. I can't go with him. So for me, it's going to be Louis Oosthuizen or Justin Thomas. Which one do we want to go with? I'm going to favor JT. That doesn't feel right, though, just due to the fact that he's coming off of that victory. He probably is going to be looking ahead to the Masters a little bit, but Louis, let's see Louis. That's tough. I'm going to go JT. Going to go JT. Not an upset in this one. Just like him a little bit more. Now we get into a very, very interesting grouping. So I know I said that the Tony Finau, Jason Kokrak, Zalatoris one was very tough to predict. This one's going to be very tough to predict. You got Jordan Spieth, Matthew Fitzpatrick, who really aren't going to be good stat fits that are in great recent form. You got Matthew Wolff, who just sucks recently. Probably not going to play him at all. He's our Dylan Fratelli of this group. And then Corey Connors playing some great golf right there as well. Let's just pull those guys up. I'm curious about this one. This one could be fun. Let's get JT selected off of there. All right, so Jordan Spieth. And once again, this is why I wanted to pull in this data here, that recent form data for you guys, so we can make a more educated pick here. Because if we looked at the whole season in terms of plays like these, we might not have got onto the correct decision. But in terms of Jordan Spieth and Matthew Fitzpatrick overall, it always is going to be the best approach to, in long term, to look at the long-term stats. But when a guy starts to pop, you need to be able to look at that. And that's where I want to include that 50-50 decisions in there for you guys. So over the last 7 weeks, Jordan Spieth, Corey Connors, Matthew Wolff, and Matthew Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick has been dominating. None of these guys have been playing horrible except for Matthew Wolff. Jordan Spieth over the last 7 weeks, average finish of 29th. That's with one missed cut there. Take out that missed cut, he's been playing well. He's been playing absolutely well. We got Corey Connors in there. Corey Connors has been playing some great golf as well. Let's see what he did at the Players. Top 10 at the Players as well. And then Matthew Fitzpatrick, who the guy just keeps playing great golf. He does. I mean, 4 straight top 11 finishes or better from Matthew Fitzpatrick. Absolutely phenomenal there from him. That's a little bit shocking. This is so tough. Honestly, this is like a coin flip. This is one of those situations where I'd probably just pick JT to move on, because this is a complete toss-up in this group. It's going to be up to you guys what you guys feel is going to happen here. I feel like Jordan is good for enough holes to be able to win, but that's tough. Like, they're all going to get an automatic W on Matthew Wolff, most likely. And then who has the mental up? Yeah, I'm going with Fitzpatrick. No, Jordan Spieth. Oh, I hate that bracket range. That is so tough. Another tough one. Oh, man. This one's equally as tough. All right. So they just said F it and went with all the top picks here on the top right. Oh, F you, bracket committee. Yeah, it's at random. I still don't believe it's at random. All right, so Cantlay. Now, what do we got? Cantlay, Ortiz. And then who else is there? Cantlay, Ortiz, Harmon, Hideki. Very interesting group here as well. All quality golfers. All golfers who, if this was a full tournament field event, we'd feel pretty good about as picks. You know, feel good about them making the cut. The only problem with this whole group is that none of them are really going out and like winning anything. Honestly, I'm going to probably favor Carlos Ortiz, although Brian Harmon has been playing a little bit better recently. If you guys want to favor that, you can. You know, his worst or his best putting is on Bermuda grass. That's good to see. Let's see Patrick Cantlay. Actually, it's just kind of, I want to see who puts best on Bermuda. Bermuda only. Carlos Ortiz, then Brian Harmon, then Patrick Cantlay. Interesting there. Let's just look at Pete Dye courses as well. So Brian Harmon, and then the other ones missed the cuts. So none of them played well at the Players. And once again, this is just from the 2021 starts over the last 7 weeks. Now let's just zoom that out. Let's see if there's any other starts that they had in there at a Pete Dye course as well. All right, so designed by Pete Dye. There we go. This is such a tough one. I probably shouldn't spend this much time on it, but I'm very curious. So Brian Harmon has been playing all right, so Brian Harmon is going to be the pick here. Plain and simple. As simple as that. Brian Harmon's going to be the pick. Now, they don't have that many starts here on Pete Dye courses, but Brian Harmon has finished 3rd and a made cut. So I like Brian Harmon just a little bit more for the Pete Dye course. Very interesting there, though. Very interesting to me there. All right, so Brian Harmon, you're moving on. Congrats, buddy. The lefty. Now, Patrick Reed, Neiman, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Bubba Watson. So Bubba Bezuidenhout. Patrick Reed. And then Neiman. I really like Neiman here. I accidentally clicked the tab. Give it a second there. Apologies there. So Neiman. See, and this is why I like to do that curated data for you guys so that it doesn't really take this long. But I wanted to show off the tool for you guys. I wanted to show it off for you guys. But once again, 9 to 5 does curated data. That'll be up live pretty much after this video is uploaded. You guys will be able to see that curated data for you guys. That data that tells you who's going to be the best pick in like 5 minutes or less. It's really what you guys want to make it. All right, so let's just look here. Zoom in a little bit. We'll look at the last, I don't know, 7 weeks again, if you will. So last 7 weeks. Patrick Reed, so Bubba Watson, I don't think we want to pick. He's been playing horrible. Don't want to end up on him. I think we're going to favor either Neiman or Patrick Reed. Probably going to go with Patrick Reed just because of his little stupid antics. I think I'm going to favor Patrick Reed. Just his stupid antics work. Let's go Patrick Reed. So Patrick Reed or Brian Harmon. That's close, guys. That is very close. Patrick Reed or Brian Harmon. So Reed, let's select him only, and then we'll bring in Brian Harmon. So which one? That's close. That's a toss-up. So if it does become Patrick Reed or Brian Harmon, that's a very close toss-up. You know, I'm crazy. I like the upset. Let's go Brian Harmon there. Let's go. The Bulldog, Brian Harmon, as people like to call him. All right, so we got Xander, Scheffler, Jason Day, and Andrew Sullivan as the next group. Or Andy Sullivan. So I just don't see Jason Day being fully concentrated for this one. And I don't really see any of them, honestly, being fully concentrated for this one with the Masters right around the corner. You know, if you don't have it together, who cares if you lose? Honestly, it's kind of the approach to go with. All right, who did I forget? Brian Harmon and Reed. Get them out of there. All right. So yeah, Andy Sullivan really doesn't have that many stats to go off of. We can see recent form hasn't been good. Scotty Scheffler's recent form hasn't been good. Really, it's going to be Xander, but Xander's coming off of that miscut as well. This is tough. This is very tough. I'm favoring Xander Schauffele. Going to go with the favorite here. Don't want to spend too much time on this one. It does kind of seem simple. A little bit more difficult of one with Rory struggling. Could be upset city here, guys. Rory. Cam Smith. Cam Smith has quietly been playing really well. Cam Smith, we know kind of his mental aspect too. The guy's a grinder. He likes this stuff. Lanto Griffin. Then Ian Poulter. So I'm not going to be favoring Ian Poulter. Just hasn't been playing well. For me, this is going to come down to, I think on paper, Cameron Smith or Rory. So Rory, I think he's going to get an easy win over Ian Poulter. I'm going to favor Cameron Smith here, guys. I just like the way that he has been playing. Lanto Griffin has been playing really well as well, but I kind of give the mental edge here to someone like Cameron Smith. Yeah, I'm just going to play it simple. I just like Cameron Smith. I like his mental aspect there. I'm going to go with him. I'm actually going to pick him over Xander as well. Most likely to move on? Sure. We'll go with Cameron Smith there. All right, so now let's see here. Harris English, Daniel Berger, Brandon Todd, Eric Van Rooyen. I'm not even going to really look. All right, I can look. No, I'm just going to go Daniel Berger. So, I don't know what this one. So Harris English coming off of that injury. If he's not healthy, he's not going to play. I don't expect him to play then. So Brandon Todd, Berger are really the only two that I want to look at for this one, to be honest with you guys. So here we go. Daniel Berger, Brandon Todd. who it's coming down to. So yeah, Daniel Berger is who we're going with. Just like him a little bit better. He has struggled on Bermuda greens compared to Brendan Todd, but Brendan Todd isn't exactly dominating. Yeah, let's go Daniel Berger in this one. Keep that one simple. So we'll move on. John Rom, Ryan Palmer, Shane Lowry, and Sebastian Munoz. Very interesting grouping here as well. Interesting. This is going to be a tougher one than people probably think. Huh. Might have to adjust Sebastian Munoz a little bit there. Let's see. John Rom. Ryan Palmer. And then Shane Lowry. So Shane Lowry. I don't know. I could see him stealing two here. Interesting that I'm pulling in two Sebastian Munoz's. All right. So John Rom, Shane Lowry, or Ryan Palmer. I like where John Rom's game has been at. He's definitely the favorite here. I'm going to favor John Rom in this one, just kind of plain and simple. All right, so now we got Daniel Berger versus John Rom. Who do you want to go with there, Daniel Berger or John Rom? Hold that up. So very close here, guys. I mean, John Rom has been playing a little bit better recently, but who has the easier path to make it? That's close. I would say Daniel Berger has an easier path to advance here. So I'm going to go with Daniel Berger here instead of John Rom. All right, so now we kind of got the big four going. Justin Thomas or Jordan Spieth. I didn't do this one. We'll go with Justin Thomas. Has a little bit easier matchup. So now we got it kind of zoomed in. So Cameron Smith or Daniel Berger, and then Justin Thomas or Brian Harmon. So Daniel Berger or Cam Smith. Get Rom out of there, then we'll see. It's actually closer than I would have thought. I'm feeling bold again. I kind of want to go Cameron Smith. I feel like he's just going to want to play better here. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cameron Smith. Kind of upset there. Don't feel great about it because he does have a tough bracket. Going with Cameron Smith, though. Interesting pick. Wow, I did not think I would end up on Cameron Smith. Call it gut play, if you will, but that's kind of the route I'm going. So Brian Harmon versus Justin Thomas. Damn. All right, let's see here. Brian Harmon been playing better recently compared to Justin Thomas. I'm going to go with Harmon as well. You know what? F it. We're going Harmon. All right, so we got the chalk on the left. Upset City on the right here. We're getting crazy with it. But, I mean, you guys could kind of see the process there. I mean, it's not too far-fetched for these guys. So Harmon versus Cameron Smith. And now this is where we look at the odds. So we'll look at it. So Bryce and JT, they're the favorites. And then we'll pull up Harmon, 80-1. And then we'll pull up Cam Smith as well. You guys saw the process there. So Brian Harmon, 80-1. That actually does feel like some pretty good odds there. So 80-1 for a guy that, you know, we're kind of thinking has a decent shot to potentially get to that Final Four. I feel pretty good about that. So 80-1 for Brian Harmon. A little bit crazy there, but I like it. Cameron Smith. So you can see Vegas is factoring in kind of that head-to-head matchup stuff with Cameron Smith as well. 33-1. Those are pretty good odds for him. Then a couple of the other guys that we were kind of keen in on. Daniel Berger's up there. Justin Thomas is up there. John Rom's up there. Rory, I don't feel good about Rory. I probably won't bet that. Patrick Henley won't bet that either. Paul Casey, I don't mind. Let's see, any long shots that potentially could. I mean, I could see Jason Kokrak really, you know, making a splash there. But yeah, 80-1 for Daniel Berger feels like a pretty good number for you guys for betting outrights. You know, I would do the top four. If you guys are making a bracket, you got to bet on the top four there. So let's just look at it. So we got Brian Harmon versus Cameron Smith. So Brian Harmon and now Cam Smith. Over the last 7 weeks, who grades out better, Brian Harmon or Cameron Smith? Brian Harmon has a slight edge, so I'm picking Brian Harmon over Cameron Smith. I did not see this coming. We got the 54th best player moving on to the championship to face, let's take a peek, DJ or Bryson. I mean, DJ hasn't exactly. All right, we're going to zoom it out a little bit further. I kind of see Bryson taking this. Bryson a little bit has the edge. Maybe not in that full season. Let's just look at recent form. I mean, Bryson does have the edge over DJ. I'm going Bryson. I think he wants to win every single week, and I see DJ potentially looking over this one a little bit more. So Bryson versus Brian Harmon in the championship. Let's close this one out. We'll look at Bryson versus Brian Harmon. The two Bs. Got the Bulldog and Mr. Bulk. That's actually pretty good. Mr. Bulk versus the Bulldog. All right. Let's pull it up here and see how we're closing it out. This is a lot closer than you would have thought, too, I bet. Brian Harmon casually popping as well. Putts really well on Bermuda greens. I'm going to laugh when he loses the first freaking week. Doesn't even get out of his group. Let's just look that over again. Hideki Cantlay, Carlos Ortiz. I mean, it's a tough group. I'm going to go with Bryson to win just due to the fact that Brian Harmon does have a tough path to get there. And it's just more of a gut thing. And then we'll go Cameron Smith over DJ there in the third place matchup. So that's really it, guys, for the brackets bets for the Dell Technologies here. It should be a pretty fun event, as you guys can see. I mean, it's fun to go through this. It did take a while. This is like the longest video I probably made ever, honestly. But you guys can go through this and use this knowledge here on your DFS picks as well. I will be having the Corrales Championship and Dell Technologies Core Plays video here later tonight for you guys, Monday night for you guys. Have that out for you guys here shortly. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, let's keep cashing. Oh, and I should mention, if you guys want to use the tools that you saw here in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. $10 a month, get you all you need and more. All right, thanks for watching, guys.